Okay, so we are on chapter 36 and 35, right? No,
Uh,
yeah,
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 yeah.
36.
35 and 36.
Um, these chapters are just the end of the book. So I want to tell you I'm proud of both of you since you have get to this point. And definitely this is uh, probably not just like easy peasy, but it's very likely to understand since you already have all the basis for didomy, and you already have the basis for um, all the non-indicative um, verbs, the regular verbs, the thematic ones. So let's go and talk about a little bit about subjunctive. Do you remember what subjunctive means? Subjunctive.
Sam does.
Okay.
I'm joking. I got it
I,
pulled up
I
here. It's the Sam. Did you have it?
no, go ahead.
No, you got it.
Well, subjunctive is basically this kind of verb that would show possibility of something, right? When something is likely to happen, or it would show a condition. If this happens, then this, right? So in the subjunctive, in the didomy verb, um, what is interesting is that it will be different only, or the big difference is on the aorist,
Mm-hmm.
since it will not include the reduplication that it usually has on the present tense. But when you go through it, you will realize that it has just the very same endings that the thematic verbs, right? Um, you will not have any difference. Um, like in a thematic verb, you would have in the aorist, you would use the primary active endings. Let me check if I'm right. Mm, no, I mean, I think it's the, yeah, primary active endings. So you would have do, does, domain, dote, dosin. Um, then when you go to the middle passive, you would use the primary middle passive endings. So you would have the my, dotai, dometa, doste, dontai. Uh, you basically have same endings, and the difference is what you're using is only the ending attached to the root of the verb, which would be do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the imperative verbs. You remember what imperative is?
Uh, indicative. The indicative like indicates, but the imperative. I
It's
feel like
imperative is the command one, like when Paul gives a command.
Yeah, yeah, it's a command verb. In
Okay.
fact, now that Jake mentioned indicative, uh, this is the not indicative verbs, all the subjunctive, imperative, even infinitive, participles. All this is not indicative. And what it really means is indicative is when you get something as a fact, right? When you are on the subjunctive, it definitely never is a fact. When you are in the imperative, you are giving command. So a command not necessarily means something is a fact. You're just giving the order, right? So that's why imperative is not indicative. So indicative, what really means is it is a fact. It is what it is, right? So here in the imperative, which is a command, it will behave exactly the same than the indicative. Uh, the only difference is you will not have what the book calls a thematic vowel, which we usually call a connecting vowel, right? Both are basically the same. So in the imperative, you wouldn't have any connecting vowel to add. So you just add the endings. Um, so if you remember the structure for imperative in an indicative verb, let me go back there. Mm, yeah, that was chapter 33. You will have the present tense theme, then the connecting vowel, then the imperative morpheme. That's the basic form for imperative. But here you will have the root of the verb didomi, which would be just da, right? And then you would add uh, the imperative morpheme, and that is it. So, as I already mentioned to you, because you are familiarized with the indicative mood, uh, this is relatively easy to understand, right? The main difference is for the present tense, you will have the reduplication, and in the second aorist, you just don't do the reduplication and you attach the 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 ending to the root. Same thing happens with the infinitive. You would just add the ending, not connecting vowel between the root and the ending. Uh, and with the participles or participles, what do you say that? I'm still struggling with that word.
Participle.
Participle, yeah. So with the participle, uh, what you will realize is just the very same thing. You take the root and you add to it the um, uh, these technical words are sometimes you add to it the participle morpheme and case ending, right? So basically, as William Mount says here, there is not surprises here either. Uh, the main difference with the arithmetic verbs is you don't add any connecting vowel, not at all. So then you have like a review. I remember. Well, any question on infinitives, imperatives, subjunctive?
There are no surprises here.
Yeah, no surprises here. That's boring, right?
Hmm.
Well, not in Greek. That's exciting in Greek.
Yeah.
You already have gotten all the surprises on every verbal tense, like,
Hmm.
but this is the this is the how do you say that, the exception for the rule, and then they
Mm.
would give you something, right?
Mm.
So yeah, it's good, not surprises on Greek. uh, then in the book you would have some, I think this is a review of the subjunctive or conditional sentences about the future more probable and the present general. Um, so I don't think this is something new. It's, he's probably just taking a time for review that on Datame. Let me see. The future more probable describes a condition that might be true in the future. Very same thing. The present general describes a condition. I'm on page 400. Describes a condition that might be true in the future. That's the future more probable. Present general is describes a condition that generally true at all times. The verb in the apodosis is always in present tense. Yeah. Uh, there are actually four types of conditional sentences, and there is not a complete example of the fourth class in the New Testament. Okay. Uh, the third class says that the sentences are saying that's, if something is true, and let's assume for the sake of the argument that it is true, then such and such will occur. And then they give us the Matthew 5:30 example. Ehe dekia su keir scandalisei se ekopson auten. If your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off. So if this, then that. That is the first class of conditional sentences. Then it says sometimes the protasis is true. You may want to translate A as sins. So you have the example, Egar pistumen hoti Jesus apethamen kai aneste. That's First Thessalonians 4:14. For since we believe that Jesus died and rose again. So this basically what is giving us is like uh, a review of what we already saw on the subjunctive, right? Oh, look at this. They give us the second class conditional sentences. It says, contrary to fact is the other name they give to it. So if something is true, even though it is not, then such and such would occur. The falseness of the protasis is assumed in the argument. The protasis is introduced with a and an indicative verb. The apodosis will normally have and the verb in a secondary tense in the indicative. So it says a gar egnosand uk anton kurion tes doxis. statosan. That's First Corinthians 2:8, and it says, "For if they known, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory." So I don't know how. Well, I don't think this comes in the test, right? But
Right.
probably what you would want to do in the practical is basically what changes, or the more important change you find is how they work with the different verbal tenses, and how they combine them in order to do the argument uh, in the apodosis and protasis. Do you use those words commonly in English? Apodosis and protasis? No? Okay.
No.
Yeah, we don't use them either in Spanish. But basically, if I'm not wrong, protasis is pretty much like a conclusion, and the apodosis is like the condition they put. So if this happens, uh, that would be the protasis, and I think that comes from protos. If I'm not wrong, means like first, right? In Greek, protos is first. Uh, so the protasis is the beginning of the argument, the condition. If this happens, then you have the apodosis, which is the conclusion or the consequence of the protasis. So, any
No.
question about this chapter 35? It's very short, by the way.
No, I'm good to move on.
Okay, so let me see something. Just 1 second. Um, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, yeah. So let's do chapter 36, and then we will do a short practice, and we will be done for today. Basically, chapter 36, what they do is to show us that didomy is not the only me verb, or basically they give us other me verbs that are common on the New Testament. Like you have didomy, that is a give. You have also paradidomy. You have istemi. Well, paradidomy, of course, is a compound word, right? From the, can you guess what makes this compound word?
Which word?
Paradidomy.
Yes.
Para and
Para.
Elem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. It's a preposition para and the verb didomy. You already know. Then you have istemi, translated in Second Corinthians 1:24 as stand firm. You have paristemi, you have anistemi, you have tithemi. That I think it's tithemi is in a lot of our exercises. If I remember well, it's kind of common. Then you have prostithemi, another compound word uh, that is very interestingly used in Acts 2:47. And you see, the Lord added to their number those who were being saved. So that's a me verb. I never thought about it before. So uh, that's interesting. Prostithemi, compound verb. Then you have the ignomy and aphiemi, which is in Matthew 6:12. So basically, what you have to know is what is true on didomy, it is true also on me verbs. Uh, Basically, what you have to remember is what happened to the root of didomy, and then do the very same thing with the uh, other me verbs you would have, and you will have some little differences. But I think it was in the introduction of the me verbs that the author said it's better just to realize those different changes than learn all the odds that could happen, right?
Mhm.
Um, so here it says when the article "ho" is present, it is emphasizing the identity of the word or phrase it modified. So you will have some uses for articles on this chapter and some meanings of when the article is not there in the sentence. So I think these are two different topics. Basically, they show you uh, the relation between istemi, tithemi, didomi, and the ignomy. On page 407, you can see they use the same endings. If you're in your book, uh,
Mhm.
istemi, tithemi, didomi, deignomy. Istes, tithes, didos, uh, deignues. Istasin, tithasin, didosin, deignosin. So what you can see here is the same pattern in all of them. They use same endings. Uh, in the present tense, they would reduplicate, like in tithemi, um, it instead of reduplicate to theta, it would reduplicate into tau, and I think that's one of the main differences you can find. I think there is an explanation for that. Yeah, that's in page 408. Uh, in the first paragraph, it says the stem in tithemy is the. When it reduplicates, the reduplicated theta changes to tau. Um, so you have a note here that says this is called the aspiration. So who of you can try to say thithi, thithithemi? Yeah, that sounds bad. I give a point for the Greeks to do that instead of said thithemi. That sounds like how do you call those that condition when people have problems with pronunciate some words like uh, it sounds like that. In Spanish, we would say sopetas, which which is when people have problems and they pronounce the s like aspirated. Sounds like that. Tithemi, no, tithemi, right? So that's the explanation of the change you have in tithemi. I'm sorry if that was inappropriate. I don't know culturally who that can. I just saw your faces and you were like, "Oh no, he's saying that for real."
No, no, no. You're good. You're good.
A Christian saying that? Oh, no. No. Well, some people joke about that, but I know we don't have to joke about people pronunciations. Yeah. So I'm sorry. Um, let's see what else. Um, what happens to the stem vowel in didomy also happens to the other vowels, even though they are different vowels, except for the ignomy. Mm, which stays the same. Okay. Alpha and epsilon lengthen to eta. Yeah, this is kind of hard to go through in the sense that I want to say something, but it is kind of explicit when you are just comparing. So I don't want to be boring for you repeating just what the book says. Uh, and then you finish with the articles. This is not necessarily related to the verbs at all. It's just like an appendix uh, related to articles. He wants to show you that there are different uses for the article. Probably we can go through the more interesting one I found. I think is John 1:1. Um, where is it?
Top of
Oh,
page 409.
yeah. He says, probably this is a good note to put on my Bible. He says, the primary function of the article is not to make a word definite. This is one of the reasons why Jehovah's Witnesses' understanding of John 1:1 is wrong. Then he quotes, Theos and Hologos means the Word was God, not a God, even though the article does not occur before Theos. Um, so that's a good argument. Although I think I have a note of my Bible already from another book. Let me see what I put in it and check if I can translate that into English since my note is in Spanish. So, yes, because theos is a substantive and it doesn't have an article, it takes the position of predicate well, you don't call it substantive, you call it a noun, right? So since theos is a noun and it doesn't have an article, it takes the position of predicate, um, given to the main verb the characteristic of be no, sorry, in Spanish instead of word we use verb, so that's why I'm getting a little bit lost. So given to the word, and word is logos, right? Given to logos the characteristic of deity instead of as Mon says uh, give um, hmm, give like the idea of being a god. Does that make sense? Because the article is not in theos,
Yeah.
it takes a position of predicate. That's what I meant. So
Yeah.
uh,
No,
a
yeah,
predicate
that's
for the principal noun, which is logos, hologos. Yeah, I said verb in the beginning because in Spanish, when you say logos, they use it the Latin verbum. So in Spanish, when you read it, instead of say in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. In Spanish, it says in the beginning was the verb, and the verb was with God, and the verb was God, because they took it from the Latin instead of the, I almost say from the English. Of course, they can't take
instead of from the English, man.
it. Instead of the Greek, as you did in English, which is very, very. That's one of the things. It's a challenge when I'm translating for someone in English, because in English you have a lot of applications for logos, even when it is a reference for Jesus, right? Because you can take John 1:1 and do some relations with Hebrews 4:12, or you can do some relation with um, John 17:17. Uh, Sanctify them in your word. Word is truth, and then Jesus says, "I am the truth." So you can match different verses in English because of the word logos, and do some arguments, but not in Spanish because they would say word. But here in the reference of Jesus, it says verb. But probably that's something you didn't need to know, but you know it now.
No, it's neat to know.
Uh, okay, so any question on this chapter? Chapter 36. Basically, what this says on the articles is sometimes is to give relevance to the noun. Sometimes it classifies. Sometimes it identifies the substantive as unique. Well, so you use the word substantive as well. When do you use substantive, and do you use noun?
I have no idea.
Okay, okay,
I don't know.
okay. And well, sometimes when it's not present, here says the emphasis on the quality of the substantive, and sometimes
Oh,
is not used simply because the word is not as specific, like in John 4:7, erketai gunei ektes uh, samareis anthlesai hudor. So
it
it is
isn't
called a
the.
woman there. Sorry?
Oh, I'm gonna. The substantive isn't that an adjective being used as the noun?
Um,
I think that's what it's being used for. I can't remember if that's what it is being used for. I don't mean to derail, but I think it's when the adjective is being used as a noun.
mm, well, I have seen the word substantive just like a couple of times in this book. Probably uh, I cannot say yes or no because I'm a Hispanic trying to help with Greek in English. So
Yeah. No, I was just making sure. I think that's what it is. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah. So I, I will definitely investigate that. I want to know the difference between a substantive and a noun, because in we just use substantive in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Other way we would say the subject of the sentence or something like
Yeah.
that. But I will do that investigation, and definitely I need to understand that difference. Uh,
Because
and
it
well,
shows with God is love. He says it is not so much that God loves, but that He is in very essence love. And so it sounds like that adjective is a noun itself.
where are you at?
410,
Okay.
410. It's talking about the article. When the article isn't present, the emphasis is on the quality of the substantive.
Mm,
And
okay.
it has ha, theos, agape, estin.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Well,
so that's what makes me think that it's that art or that adjective.
mhm. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. I appreciate that. You see, we all are learning together, Greek and English.
That was my contribution to the class.
No, 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 no. Definitely, you both have given a lot of contributions. Um, when he finishes the book with the sentence structure, uh, it usually would be uh, a conjunction, then a verb, then the subject or the noun, and then the object. That can be another noun, but in the accusative, right? Um, so what he basically says is that when this normal position change is to highlight something or emphasize a word, so it would move in another position, right? So at least most of the time. Sometimes, probably when you have been doing your exercises on translation, you can see it can change, but sometimes it could be for emphasize a word. Okay.
That's so different to me. Like to really emphasize that word that it moves. I guess they would have picked up on it because it moves out of its regular place as far as in the normality of the Greek structure of the sentence. I
Once
guess I
again,
just
sorry.
uh, with 410 at the bottom, the speaker wants to emphasize a word. The word that word is moved out of its normal position. I I don't know. I don't know if we might do something like that in English. Of course, as we speak it, we really say, if I want to say, God's the most important one, I might put more emphasis in my speech on the word God. Um, but just being out of place. That's so I don't know if we do that in English. But just I guess as you're reading out of its normal position, you see this one word and it's like, oh, he's really saying something about that one word.
Hmm.
And like I
Yeah.
said, I don't know if we do something like that in English or not.
I feel like Greek speakers would have to speak pretty quick to get a grasp of what's going on because obviously in English it's subject, verb, direct object. Um, so like you have okay, this person is doing this, or da, da,
Mm-hmm.
da, da, da. But if it starts with a verb and they're looking for a verb, but it starts somewhere else, like imagine me saying store, food, chicken tenders, car. Sam goes to. It's like, well, like, I don't know, maybe they just spoke quick and so they could like understand it very quickly.
Yeah,
That
I don't
was
know.
very deep.
it was. I thought that that moved me.
Oh, you're welcome.
No, no, he was making
So
fun of
that
your
that
sentence
was that
structure.
was moving the order. Now put it in the right order.
Well, that's
Right,
that's what.
exactly.
Well, with what Jake is bringing up, that's what really makes me think like something is like if they were to speak with this word kind of out of its normal place, that he's saying that the writer's doing that for like emphasis. Really, really putting that out there to where that's something. Okay, what's he saying about this right here?
Hmm.
Mhm.
I guess it could be, the way Jake spoke. To us that sentence doesn't make sense, but to them, I was gonna say their like sentence structure seems more like
Yeah,
liquid
like
fluid kind of thing, to where it
yeah,
can be whatever it needs to be
like
for
like
like emphasis
Spanish.
sake.
Yeah, Spanish has when you learn Spanish, they do backwards words sometimes. We have like an adjective and a noun, like a blue cow. They'll be like the cow blue or something. And I guess that's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I think sometimes we do that. Yeah, definitely. I don't know
Yeah.
if for emphasis or not, but
But
yeah,
just
definitely.
how
I thought
the
it was just to
how
be
the sentence
unique.
structure goes.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
probably intentionally we do something like that in preaching. Sometimes, like we just we just throw a subject or an object, and then we explain it. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Like, let's talk about love. And then it's like,
yeah,
okay, and then breaking down what that love is.
yeah,
Mhm. But
like
luckily, we'll never be really writing Greek or speaking Greek in the sense that it's flowing from us. We already kind of have the text, so kind of
No,
whatever.
that's the third semester, Jake.
Oh no.
We're all
Oh
gonna speak Greek now.
yeah,
no.
it would be just Greek all the lesson.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, um, we already finished it. Finished
Sweet.
all the chapters. This is the last one. 36. Congratulations.
Thank
I'm
you.
proud of you both.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. You finished the
Good
book. Now what I recommend to you is to put all this into practice whenever you're doing an exegesis, and check the verbal tenses, and check the different parts of the speech, how they are to be parsed, in the sense that that sometimes will throw you differences between the translation you have and what the actual text really says. Or sometimes the aspect of the verbs is very, very important on the theology when you are teaching a verse. So I encourage you to use this knowledge. Well, I think you have another class. At least we had it. Um, I think its name is practical. Well, I don't remember the name, but it's kind of a practical uses of Greek and Hebrew on ministry.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
basically, they will lead you to different ways to put this into practice. I think that's the main idea. And then you will have to do an investigation for a word and some different exercises that personally I feel they are very good to grow in the use of this. And then you will have Hebrew next semester, right?
Hmm.
Are
Yep.
you enrolling for Hebrew?
Hmm.
That will be nice. Yeah.
Sam's
Yeah,
gonna wait
I
actually
think
till he's all
there's
alone, and
yeah, no, no. I think there's actually like 5 people enrolled for Hebrew,
Mm-hmm.
from
There's a
what
bunch.
Dave said, which will be really good.
5 people in Hebrew?
I think so.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, well, that's very good, especially for you both as students, because when I took Greek, no, Hebrew, I took Greek together with Damien. But when I took Hebrew, I was the only student. I started with Michael Stilwell, but after like 2 weeks, he
You don't, you
quit.
know.
Yeah, he
So
became
because
Mark.
he quit, you know what happens when you have only one student? All the questions are for you. All the reading is for
Yeah,
you. You are the only student.
yeah.
There is not much to do. So it was like a little bit. Well,
I,
it helped me to grow because I could do all the questions as well, right? Just for me.
mhm.
But it put a little bit of pressure when you are the only one student.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're by yourself now.
So that's why I started calling him Demas when he quit.
Yeah, he left me in Hebrew for this present age.
Yeah. Although I recognize that I think at that time he was on the transition to go to Claxton or something. So he moved and he was getting in a different place and his house was getting ready. So I recognize probably he needed to do that,
Mm.
but probably he's one of those 5 this time, or probably not.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
a friend of mine would say that the short thing is that perhaps.
Perhaps.
Mm.
So that it's just not a short thing at all. Yeah.
Well, no, thank you and Damien for all y'all's review on this kind of stuff. It really helps out, man.
Yeah, we appreciate it a lot, and we'll look forward to Hebrew with you,
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Lord willing.
Thank you both. I am proud of you since definitely it requires to be, well, probably in Spanish we would say brave or courageous to start a class like this because it's very challenging. Uh, you are getting another language and you are uh, forcing yourself to go into this, and you made it. You made it. All you need is to uh, now to see uh, back and recognize you already went through 36 chapters. You started probably knowing nothing or very few. Probably you already knew the Greek alphabet or some of the letters. Now you know all the verbal tenses and all those thematic, athematic, third declension, contract verbs, uh, a lot of things you learned. So congratulations. Did you already finish your final for this class?
Mm-mm.
Oh, not ready. No, no,
Okay.
not ready. No, yeah,
No, no.
we'll be all right. We'll be all right. We get the
It's
book.
it's due June 15th, so gotta
Oh,
get.
so you have time enough to do that. Are you taking some summer classes?
No.
I'm taking one of Alan Webster's classes, first, second, and third John.
Hmm.
Anytime I can do an Alan Webster class, I try to do it.
Yeah, yeah, he's a genius, definitely. Yeah, he's very good. Okay,
Well,
have a good weekend.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
for your time. And if I can be of any help for you, for your ministry, even if you need to communicate with someone who speaks Spanish or whatever it be, or if it's about the. But I don't know if Dave lost you, but if he does, and we can help you with something from the test or whatever it be, uh, I'm sure Damien and me, we will be more than glad to help you as
Well,
much as possible.
Now
thank
Dave's
you,
done with the
Andreas.
class. He's gone. He's forfeited his ability to be with us since he didn't want to join us his last class.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, thank you, Andreas, and same to you. If you need help with a Spanish speaker, you could just call
Absolutely.
me.
Yeah.
I'll help you out.
okay,
Exactly.
okay, I will.
Appreciate you, Andreas.
All right, I'll see
Okay.
y'all later.
Would you like to close with a prayer?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sam?
Yeah. I'll
Mhm.
say it. Let's pray. Our Father in heaven, God, we thank you for this time that you've blessed us with. God, I thank you for your love and your mercy. God, also thank you for this class and your blessings of allowing us to be able to be a part of it. God, I thank you for Dave and his teaching, but I want to say thank you for Damien, Andreas, the work that they put in to do these reviews. It means a lot to me and Jake, and it really helps us out. God, I ask that you bless both of them in their works with the congregations that they work for and also the work that they do here at GST. Just ask that you bless them and watch over them, be with their families. Watch over me, Jake, and the rest of the students as we finish up finals and just going into summer classes and the like, and also with our works. Watch over all of us. It's in your Son, Jesus' name, that we honor and we pray. Amen.
Amen.
No.
Okay, have a good one. And
I'll see you
remember,
guys later.
whatever question you have, feel free to contact us.
All right. Thanks.
All
Thanks,
right.
Andres.
Will do.
Okay,
Appreciate y'all.
bye bye.
Bye-bye.